There's a little bit of a strange message about self-sabotage, although it kind of fills in some missing pieces. I think it makes a little bit of sense. You know there's something you should really be doing, or maybe you should stop doing, right? But you just keep sabotaging yourself, right? You know your self-sabotage patterns. What if self-sabotage is a way of making shade for yourself when you need it? This is another one of those things that takes an incredible amount of discernment and honesty and introspection and trusting your gut to really determine for yourself, right? Because sometimes when you're self-sabotaging and making shade for yourself, maybe you're actually, vitamin D deficient and you really need to go get out in the sunshine, right? And you're just harming yourself by keeping yourself in the shade. But what if sometimes you actually should be in the shade? Maybe you're still recovering from yesterday's sunburn, right? And you really should not be out in the sun. You really should be staying in some shade, and maybe there's no shade to be had, right? Maybe you can't find any, there's no trees, there's no tall buildings, right? So maybe you need to create some shade for yourself so that you can stay in the shade. And one way to do that, especially if you're not consciously managing this, if you're not consciously constructing shade for yourself, right? Then, your subconscious systems will take over and you will subconsciously create shade for yourself through the mechanisms that appear as self-sabotage. So next time you notice yourself in a self-sabotage type of situation, if you are not doing something you should be doing, or you're doing something that you would like to quit doing, ask yourself, what type of self-sabotage is this, right? Is this a moment when you really should go out into the sunshine and you should push yourself out there and you should not be self-sabotaging and constructing shade for yourself? Or is this a moment when maybe it is good for you to be in the shade, and maybe instead of creating shade for yourself through self-sabotage, maybe you can create shade for yourself in a more conscious and constructive way, just because that will likely be more pleasant and it might have some beneficial side effects, right? You might be able to create shade for yourself better if you do it deliberately rather than subconsciously through self-destruction.